Good morning, this is Vision on TV. We are here with
Bethan from SOAS Detainee Support Group.
Stardex from London No Borders.
We're going to talk today about Yarl, an immigration detention centre where women have been on hunger strike since the 5th of February, so today 6 weeks.
I visit the centre every week and I've been visiting for a year and a half. They try and make the facilities as nice as they can, and they've changed the uniform so the guards look friendly supposedly, but on a superficial level it looks nicer, like, you know, there's lots of colourful posters on the wall, things like this. But the difference from a prison is that these people are not criminals and they don't know how long they're there for. A lot of the time they don't really understand why they're there, and obviously there are children in detention centres as well. They detain families in a separate wing. I think at any one time they can have about 40 families. The Home Office itself doesn't deny the fact that, you know, a family would never abscond. How can they? If you have children, you can't run away. There are real workable alternatives.
Why are these women doing the hunger strike?
They were demanding the release, but also an improvement of their situation.
Some women have been separated from their children, which is incredibly traumatic. Some women are protesting because they've been there for such a long time. A lot of them were on fast track, which is part of the new asylum model. If your case is deemed by the Home Office to be easier to make a decision, then they put you on this process where you must be in detention throughout, and it's supposed to take 2 weeks.
This is a very significant protest, and it picks up a long line of protests in detention centres in the last years, of which Campsfield and Harmondsworth were the most significant ones, which actually ended up in closing down half of the centres. These struggles will continue indefinitely. I don't think there's any way of separating these people from what's going on outside, and I think the most important way to support them is to recognise or to respect this as a kind of a social movement.
The Home Office, in a letter that is sent to all MPs, alleged that actually the hunger strike wasn't true because detainees received food from visitors. Is that true or...?
No, it's not true. Visitors are banned from taking any food into the centre. Inside the visitor centre where you can buy chocolate, that's all. Detainees are given 70p a day to buy everything that they need: phone credit, toiletries.
The Home Office always tried to play down any kind of protest within detention, because they know how hard it is for the detainees to get any message to outside. So they kind of always tried that. I mean, they would probably have tried to ignore protests like in Campsfield if half the prison hadn't burned down in the end. So I think that's a very usual strategy to marginalise the voices in detentions.
Is the hunger strike going to affect the Home Office policy? What do you think?
It's probably not the hunger strike on its own alone. But I mean, this hunger strike is not like a singular event. As I said, there's a long history of protest, and the protest in detention centre has changed Home Office policies. It has also changed the companies who run these detention centres. You shouldn't forget that these are private prisons, and not run by the border agency. Lots of these companies lost actually their contracts and their whole business after those protests. For example, in Colnbrook, Harmondsworth and Campsfield, which were the biggest kind of cases of social unrest in detention centres. So I think it has an effect, and it's very important to keep up that pressure. There's this plan to massively expand the detention centre system, and it should be obvious to the border agency that this will mean that there will be an expanding kind of resistance in detention centres.
What's the most important thing that people can do?
Raising awareness about the issue of children is important. The problem is that people don't even know that it's happening enough to challenge it, and that's part of it. The detention centres are really kept out of public awareness, and they're you know, miles from nowhere.
Yeah, I agree, basically. Maybe in addition to that, I think it's very important that we kind of break through these stereotypes of that migration is in any way related to criminal offences or crime, and that if it is considered as a crime, then it might be a necessary crime to commit because it's a kind of defiance. I mean, if the immigration system is unjust, then it has to be kind of defied, and I think it's a very important thing we have to talk about in the wider public.
How far you think you can actually change the government policy about immigrants and this kind of specific issues?
The main aim of immigration detention is to isolate people from the outside. It's the main aim to kind of separate people from society so they don't have any support anymore, so they can probably be kind of being forced to leave the country on their own or have no support anymore. We try to support these kind of protests from outside because we see it as one of the most important kind of struggles in the social movement. There's a long history in the UK in the last 10-15 years of protest within detention centres, which we actually consider of partly more important than anything else which happened on the streets. Because the grade of organising and the grade of even of militancy in this protest is actually much higher than what's happening sometimes outside. And to kind of go along with this and say there is solidarity outside, I think that's very important for the people who do it, and it's encouraging.
Thank you to Bethan and Startex. If you want more information about Yarl's, you can go just on Vision on TV/No One Is Illegal. Just check our channels and you will find everything and more interesting stuff. Thank you.